Jack, is this the most important game of the season so far for Hibs?
I think in isolation, the prize at stake for us is big, and we've known that for a while. I think because we had so many important league games prior to this, it's meant that it's not been a distraction in any way. It's been quite easy for us to focus on the other matches. But now it's imminent. We are acutely aware of the prize at stake for us, and we entered this tournament in January wanting to win it. And we know that if we win Saturday, we take ourselves another step closer to doing that.
Does it have any greater significance? No, you know what the prize is, but the fact that it's against your closest rivals, does that add anything to it any more than it could?
I think maybe externally, I think it adds to the interest in the fixture. I think it adds to the intensity of the match itself. Maybe slightly, but it's still a semi-final, and I think when you get to that stage of any competition, there is an intensity about the match. But for us, the most important thing is reaching the final. That has been, as I said, the be all and end all. It's the main focus for us, irrespective of the opponent. So we very much understand the importance of winning this fixture at any time. But be it because it is a semi-final, then the greater focus is on winning the game to reach the final and take another step closer to winning the cup.
Whoever wins this cup this year, is it any way, is the competition in any way not as important this season because it doesn't have a European space, because it doesn't have the fact that it's the last game of the season normally, and whoever wins, it's in a glorious sunny day in May. The final this year is going to be 5 days before Christmas.
I can understand why some people might hold that opinion, and there may be even those that work within the game who still hold that opinion. But I think when you're involved in the last the last 4 teams, in the competition, that it becomes irrelevant. I've certainly not sensed any less excitement or determination about the players and staff this week. So going from the experience of being involved in it on a day-to-day basis in the lead up to the semi-final, I would say no, but I can understand why some people might believe that would be the case. But for us, certainly the opportunity to reach a final, the opportunity to potentially win in the cup has not been devalued at all in terms of the timing of the matches and the timing of the final should we reach it.
And you take on, obviously you're in terrific form as well. Hearts are in magnificent form at the moment as well. Are they a stronger team than they were, say, 12 months ago?
I think Robbie has recruited well. I think he very much understands what it takes to win the championship. He's done it on 2 previous occasions with different clubs. So I think he's recruited with that in mind, and I'm sure he's recruited with hoping that they achieve that and then they don't have to do too much to a team that then plays in the Premiership. So I think many more people have commented on what they believe the calibre of Hearts squad to be in terms of being a championship side and name only. The thing for us is that we've come up against an opponent that will be akin to what we face on a weekly basis and have faced on a weekly basis since August. So that in some ways is good for us. There is no surprise element to the quality of the opposition we'll face. It's been a standard opposition that we've faced over the opening set of league fixtures, and we've performed well against that calibre of opposition.
So you class their squad as being a Premiership squad, do you?
No, I mean, I think that they're operating in a different league at the moment, so I don't think they would have any problems knowing that they're playing in the Championship with the goal to win that to return to the Premiership. But what they have within their squad is undoubtedly players that have already played in the Premiership in Scotland, and I believe he probably feels as if he's recruited ones that believe they're good enough to play that level as well. So for me, it's just been about the focus on the standard of the opposition, like it is for every game, their strengths and their weaknesses, irrespective of what division they currently find themselves in.
Thanks, Jack.
Jack, you've spoken a lot about confidence this season. Is it as high as it's ever been at this moment in time, given the run you've been on?
I think the group have grown in belief and stature with each passing week of the Premiership season. We felt as if our preparations for the season had went well. The start of the season, I think we had the little fine margins that you need, I think, to set you up for a good season, in terms of there was a couple of games early that maybe we didn't play as well as we could have done, but we found a way to win the match, and that grew the belief in terms of picking up points, but also understanding that they have that ability to win games in different ways, and we've just gathered momentum with each passing week. And the points return that we have to date is hugely encouraging, and I do feel as if I have a group of players that are in the best possible frame of mind. I think they feel good about themselves, but equally are such a good group that they have a full understanding of why they've been good this season, and they've shown that again in their preparations this week, and they're excited about Saturday's game. You know, and that's the great thing about it. There's a real determination about them, but equally an excitement about the match itself.
Have you had to do anything different to prepare mentally for this occasion, given it's going to be quite a unique occasion?
No, I mean, we have I speak often enough about a consistency of approach, and we have that within our working week. The only things that change within it is the opposition you're playing and how you have to prepare for them specifically. And then obviously the thing that will be very different about the semi-final is no fans within the stadium. But again, for us, we've experienced in every home game this season. We've had games such as Rangers at home, Aberdeen at home, where I would imagine Easter Road would have been full. We've went to Celtic Park and played, and these are all strange matches to play in without a crowd in attendance. So again, our group have been well accustomed to that. So I don't think that side of things will come into play for us at the weekend.
Jack, in terms of the progress that your team has made over the last year, how big a landmark and a big step would it be to get to a final?
Well, it's something that I've spoken about regularly since I took this job, but we as a group speaking about it often, about what we want to achieve, but also what we can achieve. So in leagues, in terms of the league, we're operating in an area of the league that we think we can be in, and we want to stay there. And then cup competitions offer us a realistic and achievable chance of success. It's not easy to do. We know that, and the history shows that as well. But we've put ourselves in a good position in the Scottish Cup to do that. So this is, it's another significant challenge for us, but another significant step forward should we overcome it. Do
you feel if you do overcome it, it could be actually quite a defining moment in your entire season, and it could really spur you on to greater things?
It's difficult to say, Charles. I think I'm always, because football is it's normally 40, 50 game season, and there'll be loads of moments within a season that people could reflect upon and say that defined where you went to, where you want to go. It will be sore if we don't achieve success, and it will be a huge boost to us if we do. But whatever way it pans out, we have to react accordingly to it, whether it's success or not success for us. So we, I think more than us worrying too much about the consequences of the outcome, it's just all our energy and focus has been on how we win the match and making sure that we believe we can.
Hey Jack, it's Ali DeFoy from the Go Radio Football Show here. You have so many players on form right now. How difficult is it to choose a starting 11?
Well, the one good thing that I've had is consistency of selection. I think we, up until recently, and I would imagine it's still the same, I think we had used the fewest players in the Premiership this season. And that's been testament to the consistency of the players that have played in the main. And it's not a slight on those that haven't, because those that haven't have contributed to us preparing and training properly before every match. So as a manager, you like consistency of selection, because generally it means that you're performing well and winning. There will always be one or two areas that will cause you a dilemma, and this weekend is no different. So we, as always, I said, that consistency of preparation from the staff as well is there, and we obviously have selected the team that we think is the right one for starting the game on Saturday.
And with the championship obviously being slightly delayed, I don't know how much you've got to see of Hearts' form, but how do you prepare for that?
Well, I think obviously the fact now that they've played league games has allowed us to see them in person, along with the wide availability of footage now from both pre-season matches and competitive matches is there. Obviously there was a Betfred fixtures prior to the opening two league games, so I think it's allowed us to build a pattern of Robbie's selection and what they do within the games. I think there's more than enough information there for us to work to and work from. So the preparation side has been okay in that respect.
Thanks, Jack.
Jack, a few of the bookmakers have Hearts as slight favourites for this tie. I asked Robbie Neilson, when I spoke to him on Tuesday, well, he made of it. He said he doesn't think it makes any impact at all. Well, what do you make of that?
I think a favourite for any contest is only really of relevance to those that set the odds and those that choose to take an interest or bet on the outcome. I think if you're neither of those parties, I think it's inconsequential. You may think I'm avoiding the question, but I think that's stating a fact as well. You know, I'm neither of those two parties. I'm not setting the odds, and I'm not going to be betting on the game. So it's of no relevance to me in terms of who bookmakers perceive to be the favourite. I think for us, it's about having a group of players that believe they can win the game, and I've certainly got that.
Of course, you've had a really strong start to the season, doing well in the Premiership there in the league below. Do you think there's an added pressure to you at all, perhaps, to take the game to them?
No, there's a pressure on us to win the game, and that's not people believe that the word pressure is a negative one all the time. It can be a positive. We put pressure on our players, and I put pressure on myself to be the best we can be every single day I walk through the doors of this training ground, and that's what we've done this season. We make big demands of the players. We've got expectations of them, and they've risen to them. So this weekend is no different. Our preparation this week is about challenging them to make sure they perform well on Saturday and win the game. So that is a positive pressure for us, is one we've embraced this season and one we're relishing again this weekend.
Hi Jack, is there more pressure on this derby with it being potentially the only derby of the season?
Again, probably similar to the last question. I don't think it changes. I think that the significance around the fixture remains the same, whether or not you play each other once or 6 or 7 times in a season, and whether it's a league fixture or a cup fixture. Now we've only had relatively fleeting experience of the matches in terms of the 2 games last season, but I fully understand the significance of it. And as I said, it certainly doesn't feel any more or less significant because it is likely to be the only time we face each other this season.
Do you take anything from those 2 games in terms of preparation for this match, or because it was under different management and obviously the Hibs team looks a bit different, is it not as sort of relevant in terms of the preparation?
No, I think that the turnover in personnel at both clubs, obviously with Daniel leaving and Robbie now being in charge of a different management team at Hearts as well. It's a neutral venue as opposed to either the club stadium. It's a cup semi-final, so there's so many different factors involved in this game than the previous 2 league games. So no, I haven't. We haven't really looked at those 2 games at all in terms of preparation for this weekend.
And is there any update on Lewis Stevenson and Jamie Murphy, whether they could be involved at all?
We will have a couple missing and we'll have a couple back. So we will see what tomorrow brings as well. But that is probably as much as I'm going to give you just now. A couple back and a couple still missing.
Fair enough. Cheers.
Jack, I asked Paul Hanlon this and he said it was perhaps one for you. You've got sort of a core of 4 or 5 there that were involved in the 2016 Cup final. Just how important is that for you and the rest of your squad that you've got that group of players that have been and done it before?
I think any time you go into a game, the significance and importance, I think having people within your group that have been through that experience is obviously vital. So the fact that I have players within the group that have achieved success, irrespective of being the Scottish club, but have achieved success. But I've also had players out with that group that have played in pressure matches. You know, I've got Joe Newell, for example, that's played at playoff finals at Wembley. And they're big occasions and pressure occasions as well. I've got Kyle McGuinness, who's played in a relegation playoff match for St Mirren. So these are all pressure matches, and they're all challenging. But the more you have within your group that have experienced that, and then more importantly, the more you have in your group that have experienced it and been successful is vital. So we've got that group that was successful in 2016, and we've got those that I've mentioned that have been successful in big games and cup finals as well. So it does matter, and it's important, and it's nice to have it at my disposal.
And just for you as well, you've also been involved in those couple of pressure matches with Sunderland, whilst obviously you'll be hoping for a better outcome result-wise. What did you sort of learn from those experiences or showpiece matches?
I mean, first of all, you don't want to be on the losing side of that because it's sore. But I think each time you experience it as a manager, you feel better prepared for the next big occasion you're hopefully involved in. And I'm fortunate that it's not all that long ago. I was at Wembley twice, and then to get the opportunity now to lead a team at Hampden so quickly, it's fantastic for me personally, and I want to be successful in that during that challenge. And as I mentioned, I think each and every time you do it, you feel probably calmer, more balanced as you approach it. I think it helps give you that clarity of thought going into the game.
Jack, just going back to the fans again, obviously they've been unable to get inside Easter Road to watch you play in this season. How pleasing would it be, do you think, for them? Because this is the most important game of the season for these guys. How pleasing would it be for them and for you to deliver a cup final for them?
It's something that I've been conscious of for a while, Brian, in terms of not just this game, but also our league performances. We the current climate means that football clubs have had to ask supporters to show a loyalty and commitment that has perhaps gone beyond what they're asked to do regularly because they're not allowed into games. So it's not blind faith, but it's an unbelievable show and commitment to a football club. And what you then do is try and repay that with what you do on the pitch. And we feel as if we're delivering that in league games and where we are at the moment, and we're bringing enjoyment, hopefully, to Hibs supporters. And Saturday gives us another brilliant opportunity to repay that faith and support. And we know that we're not carrying it as something heavy on our shoulders. We want to take the opportunity to do it. And if we do, then it will be another reward for them. And it's something we're determined to do.